Guys, quiet down. Corpse Cast is on. Hi there, my name's Dan, and welcome to Corpse Cast 1.5. After a little recording snafu, we deleted the first one, and this isn't quite the second one, so this is 1.5. Once again, my name is Dan. To my right is Damien. And my left is Troy.
Hello.
And there you go. And this is the first broadcast of Corpse Cast, and we have a special friend here today.
I'm special.
His name is Tyler.
Hi.
He's not that special, but we like to treat him as so anyway.
I rode the short bus.
Basically, the little background as to why we created it was to have a fun listening alternative to the larger podcasts in the area dealing with horror specifically. But at least that's why I personally got into it. I think Damien has.
Yeah, I just thought, we need another horror podcast. And why not have three of the podcasters from the haunted house? And Troy was laughing at me as much as everyone else.
No, it's just everybody's just trying to get. It's that when you're not supposed to talk is when you're like,
yeah.
True.
Oh my god!
I just wanted to do something that would be cool and voice my own opinions, and I'll throw it over to Troy here, which is waiting.
I guess my main reason for doing a podcast is I get called by our, I guess, brother podcast, Sinister Hour podcast. I love the joy getting called by them, but I kind of wanted to help out or help with friends to get our own podcast going. It'd be something different in my life, and it'd be because it's fun hanging out with these guys. I figured, hell, get it on tape and see what rolls.
Tape joke. But and this podcast is brought to you by the word podcast, which we've probably used about 15 times now.
podcast. I can get this up.
Yes, we can, but 15 minutes of that would, well, frankly, be art.
Should we just call it the P-cast?
Podcast, brought to you by the word podcast. Actually, it's more of a phrase, I guess. Anyway, it depends on if it's hyphenated or not.
Actually, technically, all we're doing is really pushing Apple since it's named after the iPod.
That's true.
Worship the almighty Apple.
Well, excuse me. Damien, come on. This is radio here. Not really.
At least it's not coming out as other end.
Radio?
Internet radio.
I think you did that earlier.
Well, I got that off the air, so we wouldn't have to mention it on air. Thank you for ruining that.
Internet radio, where we're 5 years behind video on the internet, which has been out for quite a while.
Fuck you!
We'll catch up in a while.
Anyway, give you a little background on myself as far as my qualifications to do such a podcast. I studied at Juilliard, and no, I'm just kidding.
We all had
horrifying.
Yeah, we all had to have a resume to get in here and talk to them.
It's pronounced resume. It's not really.
And we really didn't need a resume, or.
You guys didn't have to apply? I'm kidding. That was a joke.
So I slept with someone for no reason.
Well, what was it that last night?
Well, that's
that awkward silence.
Only I can deliver.
He just got burned.
I'm in pain.
But
that's
anyway,
not the STD.
Yes.
At least you hope not.
Anyway, back to reality. What?
This is really
something
a horror. I thought this is a horror, not horror.
You misspelled it. You missed the R. This is the horror cast. But I've been doing the local haunt scene for, I guess this is year 7, 8, something. I kind of can't remember. Been doing Fats of the Clown for 5 years, I think. I'm looking at Damien he's our local historian here as far as that goes. And this old boy's been doing it for
about 11 years.
Damien and I started Delhi the same year.
Yep.
Dungeons of Delhi.
Dungeons of Delhi, a little plug for you. And
yeah.
My words don't work right now.
I did John McCain there. And,
you shot someone in the face?
I thought that was Al Gore.
Yeah.
I thought that was Al Gore.
No, that was
No. What? Why would Al Gore shoot someone in the face?
I don't know. I'm getting my people mixed up.
Clinton did that, but
Oh!
take that, Monica.
Take that, 1998.
Hey, it's still relevant.
Anybody have
Anyway.
cigars?
It's only relevant to a dry cleaner still trying to get that stain.
Yes, that's...
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to have to step 10 years in the future when Clinton jokes are no longer funny.
And when fucking podcasts first started to hit the air. At any rate.
Holy shit, we have a black president now. Welcome to the future.
Anyway, Dan, give him a little background. Sorry,
Yeah, both me and Tyler joined about 11 years ago with the Dungeon of Delhi, and for the last 3 years, I've been working and helping with the Dent Schoolhouse, which is, frightsite.com, a little plug for them.
I give a little plug to somebody.
Well, you know,
I'm gonna plug to you.
there's nothing much that I would like to give as a damnation. Anyway. My character is Damien Reaper, obviously because my name is Damien. The character is a possessed dead man who has vengeance on his mind. Sometimes ladies, you know.
So would that make his body repossessed?
No, he's not married, so.
So wouldn't that just be like moving into an abandoned home?
The homeless people didn't do too much damage.
I guess the soul was lost. It's like, hey, I'll repossess this.
That's right.
Repossessed? You guys remember that movie?
Yes.
That was
Devil
the
in
word,
a blue dress. Oh shit, we're back to
Sex,
super
drugs, and rock and
copyright.
roll. I hate sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Leslie
Sorry.
Nielsen. That was the only time I've ever gotten to see a woman working out's breast explode.
Yeah, that, for those of you who, have never seen that movie,
See it.
yeah, seriously. Probably won't be able to find it at Blockbuster anymore.
No, but
I
check
don't-
the interwebs.
Yes, check the interweb.
Netflix,
You can-
maybe.
Yes, Netflix, possibly. YouTube, maybe. And
I doubt it. I doubt that would even make it.
the
on
clip
there.
with her boobs exploding probably would be
That
on there
probably
anyway.
is on there.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty popular
Famous.
clip. But at
For
any
an
rate,
famous movie.
Troy, what did you include on your resume for the podcast that apparently I was the only one who turned in?
I'm Troy, and I guess I've been working for Dent Schoolhouse for 10 years. I've been there for my whole, I guess, haunted house life.
He did quotes.
Air quotes.
You can't see that, but he did them.
We should punch someone every time they do air quotes.
Okay, keeping my hands down. I guess my main character is Dr. Heldrake, who can apparently talk to the dead and read their minds and tries to tell everybody about the truth world. The world we live in is a false, fake one, and the truth is after you die, and that's where all your true dreams, reality comes to life. The other character I play is Baby Zeus. I don't need to say anything more.
Oh, the famous Baby Zeus.
Ugh.
A Troy in his diaper. You know.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
scared
amazing.
right now.
It's amazing how much Baby Zeus gets more play than I actually do. He gets more women than I actually do.
I'm thoroughly and completely creeped out at the moment. Good job, sir. Good
In
job.
fact, one year, a Midwest Hunters Convention, I had this old creepy lady chase me around. I had to hide behind Charlie the janitor because she wouldn't leave me alone. I was
And
terrified.
Charlie swung his wrench at her.
She wanted to gum ya.
Should have wrapped her
Come
gums
back here.
around you.
I'll change that diaper with my teeth, which I carry in my pocket.
Where are we talking like we're on old time radio?
Suck it, man.
Everyone runs around with a cup.
That sound like I'm on old time radio?
But
I will whoop your ass, young man.
I used my hands. I didn't really have a can on that one. But
We have cups right over there, actually.
solo
Yeah.
cups used for beer pong. Beer pong, the nation's sport. But
That's a commercial right there.
We could actually put wire between him and the telephone.
I tried to do that as a microphone on the first, corpse cast we did here, but it didn't really turn out that well. It just kind of sounded like a bee.
We're all aware that's a joke, right?
Yeah.
that doesn't actually do anything. Someone needs to disable their screensaver.
Shut up! Sorry if you keep hearing a little handling noise there. That's me trying to make sure that we don't B-roll into oblivion. I hiccup there. I apologize. I had La Rosa's for lunch. La Rosa's! Pizza. Anyway.
I had Pizza Hut.
Pizza.
And I had your mother. Your mother's here with us.
They all float down the
Red rum. Red rum. Anyway, now that we've gone through about 15 movies, sticking with that theme, Friday the 13th, which came out...
Don't get me started on how awesome that was.
Yeah, seriously.
We had a Pee Wee Herman incident in the movie.
You throwing here?
What? I was saying Pee Wee Herman, not Green Muppet.
There's a difference.
Hamburger trade! Friday the 13th, I thought, was one of the better remakes that we've seen, in the past couple of years, which for some reason seems to be, instead of coming up with your own material, remake someone else's. Fuck it.
Well, like they always say, we've remade the same 6 movies over and over again. We just add a different master killer each time.
Yeah, and it's interesting. If you look at how many movies are based off Romeo and Juliet, it's like irony. But
yeah, one of my favorite movies. Everybody says it's basically off of Romeo and Juliet.
But
tell them to go to hell because it's not.
So as we know, Friday the 13th had the same writers as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 4 years ago?
Just
absolutely phenomenal. Woo!
Guys, thank you. Fantastic. And a little bit of a interesting kind of banter on that one. I actually know the brother of a production assistant that worked on Friday the 13th, which makes us absolutely nothing as far as friends go. So hopefully, maybe
what does that make us? Absolutely nothing.
I know this guy who was friends with this other guy who worked in the movie.
I saw that once. I just need to introduce myself. If you go by the the 1 in 4 rule, you know someone famous.
Yeah. I know the studio prostitute.
Yay!
She's my sister.
Mom. Yeah. Ouch.
You're both related to the same.
You have the same mother.
We are close to Kentucky.
Yeah, that's true. We're uncomfortably close. That's why I have my gun next to my bed.
I'm uncomfortably
Anyway, yes.
Okay, so Friday the 13th. I think it was phenomenal. It was in the same vein as Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a remake, but more of a reimagining.
Yeah, oh man, I'm just like so pumped by pump you up, Hans and Franz, everybody. I'm just so excited because of the recent remakes and
the surge of classic 80s horror.
And it's fantastic because anyone who's seen your Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, so on and so forth, they're something else. They're a different class. They're not the typical Saws. Sorry if anyone likes that movie. I'm pretty
Saw. How did we kill the last guy? Oh, a lawnmower. Fuck. Let's use a hairdryer.
Yes, a hairdryer into a tub. At any rate, it was just it was amazing. Just the new introductions, as far as like the character goes, the depth that they really put into them on this one was a lot better than the original one in the 80s. Plus, technology I think allows them now to be able to pull off just the most crazy, insane things without necessarily having to do like CGI.
Yeah. What I really appreciated about this one was the use of prosthetics instead of CG. Now, not knocking Freddy vs. Jason. We all know the acting in that was deplorable, but we don't go for the acting of
other than Robert Englund, of course.
We go for the acting of Robert, and Jason, obviously.
Which the new apparently Nightmare on Elm Street are getting Robert Englund is not going to be Freddy.
Yeah,
that kind of turned me down at first, but then I heard who might be doing it, and that brought me back around.
It's still all speculation with that one. The only thing they've done so far with Nightmare on Elm Street was pin the director. But the thing about what I was talking about with the connection to Freddy vs. Jason was it was a modern Friday the 13th film with Freddy involved. And the problem was with that one, you could tell CG, the blood was CG.
Yeah.
And things like that. With this one, they went all out with not overusing the CG. And I very much appreciate that because when it looked like someone was dead, they really looked dead. There wasn't that colorful fake blood across the floor.
Ketchup probably would have done a better job in some of those scenes. And as a lot of you guys remember, at least I think this is a little piece of trivia that I've been told, the single scene of a horror movie or science fiction fantasy that had the most blood in it. Can anyone name it?
The scene in the first Nightmare on Elm Street where Johnny Depp was pulled down through the bed?
Close. It was
Shining?
actually, yes, from The Shining, when the elevator doors open.
Right!
Technically, I guess you could say it wasn't really fake blood. It was more so thick water with food coloring in it, or
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The imagining of blood. You're right, I forgot about that.
And, a lot of people forget about that scene, and I just want to give a shout out to the janitor who had to clean that shit up after that scene. I would have shot somebody.
Where was Charlie at that time? Did he? Never mind.
Yeah, that just... bravo to the cleanup staff on that one. That just...
Bravo to
crazy.
anyone. For scenes like that, like in Nightmare on Elm Street, just that's a fucking mess.
Yeah.
Well, like, I'm gonna probably get shot for this. I still have not seen the whole Shining.
Okay, so
I've
Troy's
only,
out.
I've only seen tidbits in each, like for some reason I've seen the ending, I've seen part of the middle, but I have not seen like the whole
Don't
thing.
worry, we're gonna kill Troy toward
Yeah.
the end of this.
Yes, I plan on seeing the whole thing. It's just like there's so many horror films that I watch.
Your horror movie card's being revoked.
It's just I haven't got to see it all, and so I'm a little in the dark about.
I saw The Shining when I was probably about 8, and it just came on TV one day.
Yeah.
And I was going, "Hey, it's Olive Oil from Popeye."
Yeah.
As the actress, and Jack Nicholson. He's a little weird. And then I see this movie, and I think the scene, what really got me is when he goes into the shower and the woman's...
Oh, God, the rotting
old lady.
Jesus.
And she comes out of that shower, and she's coming after Jack Nicholson.
Pancake boobs and all.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
was
was
horrible.
I've
pancake
seen that
boobs and all.
scene. Yeah, that
was
I was like, oh, that's.
I got that on TiVo.
Damien uses that for a little inspiration.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, let me get the batter out of those old pancakes.
I'll go, that goes back to the
Need to
girl
flip
chasing
those.
baby Zeus. I'll tell
Put some air in those tires, ma'am. You're running a flat.
Yeah.
ya. She trips over herself. Oh!
She literally does a front flip without even trying. Oh, man.
Oh god. We could go on all day about those saggy
we
boobs.
really could. So what
Get
was
out of
your
my mind.
What?
What?
Damien, what personally is your favorite horror film moment of recent? It doesn't even matter when of any horror film.
Well, I loved Nightmare on Elm Street 1. Robert Englund was very, very, very creepy. And I remember the nails coming out. They should have did that movie in 3D. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been my favorite part in that movie. If they would have done that in 3D, was the when he's in the alley, it has like 30-foot long arms.
Oh,
yeah, and he's like trying to hug the kid. That one scene made me freak out so bad.
The cutting out the finger though.
Yeah, that's pretty creepy, but yeah.
Which they actually redid in Freddy's Dead. He
Yeah.
did that again.
Yeah, he did.
I love The Exorcist, but I can only watch the last end because the first part's very boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie
Yeah.
does take a hell of a build up.
It's like The Omen, which my name came from. Damien
Yay.
Thorne, little plug for him, like he needs it. The Antichrist. He's getting all the plugs tonight. I like when the glass cut the guy's head off, and there was no blood, but you just see the head rolling.
It was pretty gnarly.
The creepy factor of that in itself.
The creepy factor was the slow motion spinning of that.
Yeah.
It was like now we've mentioned The Omen, and we were talking about horror movie remakes earlier. Now I know this is a few years ago.
Mhm.
Did you guys go and sit down and watch the remake of The Omen?
I did.
I saw it.
Is it just me, or did it feel like the exact same movie?
It did.
Like, there was no point remaking it because they didn't add anything.
Well, I guess the reason it was okay with me is the fact that, like, with me, it was so long ago that I saw the original, and then when the remake came out, I saw that.
Right.
And I kind of forgot what happened in the original, which sometimes that happens because I see so many movies.
But the original plays on television fairly often.
Yeah.
And I've seen it plenty of times, and I've also preferred Redford. Was it Robert Redford who played the father?
Yeah, I
in the
think
first
so.
Omen?
Yeah.
I love him. I think he is an absolutely phenomenal actor. So those looks on his face when he's holding his son down, and he realizes he's gonna have to fucking kill his kid.
Yeah.
That kind of look. Obviously, he doesn't do it, but that I just didn't care for the remake because there was nothing outstanding.
Yeah, I think Buster Keaton probably would have done a better job. Great stone face as far as like not emoting too much, through the facial expressions. Which, for anyone that's ever worked in the haunt industry or really focused on horror movies, is facial expressions, use of eyebrows
Is a must.
Yeah, and that's something that I've always found interesting. Is you can say more with just kind of a creepy glance than you can, with bouncing off the walls and
Victor Price.
exactly.
Vincent Price.
Victor Price.
What the hell?
Yeah, it's his uncle.
Yeah.
But Vincent Price's use of his eyebrows and that's the twitch in his
Bela
mouth.
Lugosi.
Yeah.
Bela
Yes.
Lugosi. My
Fantastic.
God.
Good call,
Yeah.
Damien.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal. And
Boris Karloff.
Boris Karloff.
Who played pretty much everybody.
The Phantom of the that scene of Phantom of the
Yeah.
Opera. That was piano wire he used to hold his face like that.
Really?
He used, I think it was like piano wire and plaster.
Good God.
Like that was old school makeup things, but hanging
Ouch.
a whole hat
Yeah.
on your face.
We can just use surgical adhesive. I mean,
Like nowadays.
Yeah.
But what's funny is nowadays we're seeing a lot less with prosthetics. We're seeing a lot more CG. There's nothing worse than a horror movie that has a full CG monster.
Oh God.
Because once at the end of the film, when the monster's like, "Ah!" and you're like, it's a cartoon.
Yeah.
It's Shrek.
You
Ah!
could
Yeah.
so see the green screen behind the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
It seems like any horror movie that's ever been produced by the Sci-Fi Channel always has
Yeah.
Oh.
a CG monster.
I watched they've been having the snake stuff on.
Oh,
Snake
God.
and Python. You could so see it was so fake. I'm like, this is so
I feel
fake.
bad.
And I hate
bad.
snakes. But watching this, I'm like,
Why did it have to be snakes?
that is so.
I feel bad for Bruce Campbell who ends up in half of those things.
Yeah, seriously.
He's a great actor. For
He's
that.
a great actor for
Put
him
up
to
with
react
that.
to
Yeah.
nothing in front of him.
Evil Dead. Oh my God! And Army
Yeah.
of
1,
Darkness.
2, and Army through Darkness.
Well, I can't wait for seeing My Name is Bruce.
I've
Yeah.
already seen it.
Have you?
Oh, you got to see it?
Yes.
Really? How was it?
It was awesome. It was kind of, they took a little bit of Evil Dead and
Well, it was supposed to be an homage to it. Where'd you get to see it at?
Wayne from Scare 13 Productions. My
Let's say a
good
little
friend.
plug.
He's my good buddy. We do
Little blood.
horror movies and
Little
comedy
plug.
movies. If I just say videos or movies that ends up to be porn,
No.
we're not gonna
No.
even.
We don't promote porn.
We just watch a lot of it. Alone.
Okay.
With bacon grease. And a nice cat and some baba beans.
Okay.
It was really good. They took Bruce Campbell. He played a hyped version of himself, kind of like a snooty, washed-up actor.
Oh, like Bruce Campbell playing Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Well, that was the point of the film, is him playing himself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And- but it's a little. He made himself look like an asshole, and he's really not like that in life, in real life that I know of. A lot of the actors from the 80s and 90s from horror. I've never known any of them to be assholes. But of course, I could be wrong. I'm sure I'm wrong.
Well, in some cases, you just really never know people until you,
Meet
Yeah.
them
Until you piss them off.
yeah. That's very true. And
You don't really know a person until you've gotten on their bad side.
till you've wiped your ass on their grave.
I've never met Damien Reaper yet, so.
Yeah, and it's just the whole horror movie thing is there's so much conjecture as to what makes a good horror movie.
Everybody has their differences.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite horror movies are The Puppet Masters.
Oh yeah, that series was fantastic.
Just something about toys or dolls that are freaking awesome.
It's
toys.
it was the puppetry in it, the way they
Yeah.
made them move. The fact you showed emotion, and what's funny is with the Puppet Master films, you find that you like the puppets better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Well, I think the original point was they were the Puppet Master's guardian.
Yeah,
And
that was exactly the point.
right. The only one of the Puppet Masters, which I know wasn't made by the same director as the original, was Retro Puppet Master, which was the worst movie.
So,
I shouldn't say
I was
worst
about to
movie.
say,
ever,
we're all
but-
wooden.
No,
Yeah.
did you get a chance to see Puppet Master versus Demonic Toys?
Yes,
That was
Dude.
great. It had Corey Feldman playing a mad scientist. Epic win.
yeah,
Now,
that was funny.
The whole purpose of the movie was supposed to be cheesy.
Yeah,
It
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be scary.
Oh, it
And
was
I
cheesy.
loved it because of that.
Mhm.
No, you're right though. Retro Puppet Master was about as boring as
yeah.
anything.
It didn't really suit me as far as being able to keep up with the originals.
Yeah.
I think everyone will agree with that one.
The two old people that actually saw it.
But,
I heard they're rebooting Child's Play,
really?
but they're going to keep the same Chucky.
Well, I hope so.
The same
Don't turn him into a
voices.
G.I. Joe. We're all fucked.
Stephen
Yeah.
Joyce or some.
Something like that. I only knew him as
Hey,
Charles
they need to
Lee
keep
Ray.
the same name. They need to keep the same voice just
Oh
because
God, yeah.
Yeah.
that voice is synonymous with that character. And just imagine him,
That laugh.
Chucky. Just imagine you're picturing Chucky coming down the stairs and you're hearing like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you now, dude." Seriously, it really wouldn't have the same impact.
How does Keanu Reeves keep getting worse? Sorry.
Whoa. I'm a doll.
The best movie, Bill and Ted Bogus Journey.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one.
And
That's not horror, but
But
Yeah.
it's okay. Hey, honorable mentions are always good.
Satan is in it.
Yeah.
okay, you get that one.
Yeah.
It shows a
Moving on.
Score.
They-
Hey, Primus
they're
was in there.
near
Primus. That was a
Primus,
good one.
Primus.
Primus.
Okay, before we talk more about
Yeah. Before I go on for 9 years about Primus, and one thing that we all kind of had in common, at least with the current four of us that are currently on the broadcast, are a slight interest and some experience with the paranormal. And three of us went to Waverly. We got to Surf of the Wave.
Thanks,
Which,
Adam.
yeah, thank you,
Adam
Adam.
Kaysen.
I didn't get to go. I wasn't called, bastards. I got the call afterward. That's what bothered
Dude,
me.
you should have been
It was
there.
like that's exactly it.
You missed
guys
us
got
getting
back
hit
from
by a
Waverly.
plane and going in the backwoods and almost getting killed and how horror movies start.
I didn't even know you guys were going. I got on Facebook and there's pictures from Waverly and all you guys going, "We had the greatest day ever." And I'm going like, really? Like I was home that day.
You're like,
I
Hello.
hate all
asshole.
of you. Hate all of you. I think we all had some interesting experiences.
Sexually.
Yes, literally.
Well, it was dark in there.
Yes.
I told Damien to stay away
Is that
from
your
me.
proton pack in mine?
I wanted to bring the knee pads.
Hey.
Oh!
That is like the
Zing,
third time
zing,
we burned you.
zing.
Take that.
Were you guys in 502?
Yeah. That's the little explanation of that one coming here in a second. Soon.
Down
My-
the well.
my
Oops.
My personal experience there, that was the, which was the most interesting. I think it's important to, if you're going to these places, to not expect to be terrified out of your mind, to really think it's going to be like a haunted house as like a theatrical production.
Slimer's going to come out. No.
Yeah. And,
There's
everyone...
a good chance you'll see Jack and shit.
Yeah. And I think everyone's expecting like full-bodied, repeating apparition
You
type
won't
stuff.
get any of that. That's
Ectoplasm raining down on you.
I did a $20 tour, which is basically a historical tour.
$20.
So what do you get at 25?
and I went in there expecting somewhat, and I didn't get anything.
A ghost rubbed down.
And then when we went it overnight, I tried to get in my mind that, it's going to be nothing, and still I kind of let myself down. That was my fault.
So you got to sneak in a Ouija board. Go a little, some bat's blood. Maybe
Yeah.
we have a fun little story about as far as provoking goes, which I believe the owners of Waverly filed that under. Thank God we don't use last names. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah,
Good job, Damien.
His name is Suicidal Adams.
We'll fix that in post.
Adam Smith.
John Johnston. But anyway, my personal experience was I was on floor 4, I think.
Yeah.
Made popular by the Shadow Folk. I was in I think what would be the West Wing, maybe, not the show. And
Why's William Shatner?
yeah, I was taking pictures. we had a huge thunderstorm that pretty much rocked the was it Louisville, Lexington area, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that pretty much rocked the area. Perfect setting for a haunted house. Just to sum it up, short of the creepy, like, kind of mist around a full moon, I think it was like maybe a 3/4 full. At any rate, I was taking pictures and I kept hearing something breathing over my shoulder, and it sounded like someone was breathing through a wet paper bag. I'm an asthmatic. Well, I didn't expect you to know that, but now you do.
Well, like Christian Bale's acting?
Yeah, there you go. And I was an asthmatic, or I am an asthmatic, and I had heard someone breathing like that. I was like, oh man, like maybe someone needs my inhaler really bad. So I turn around to I thought in all honesty it was Damien breathing over my shoulder. And I was like, man, what? And I started going back to taking pictures and looking through my viewfinder. I heard it again, and I didn't pay attention to it. And then I felt something kind of nudge me on the shoulder. I turned and was looking for Dan, and I looked over, and he was leaning against a door frame, like, across the hall. And, I was trying not to yell, but I walked over and was like, hey, were you just over by me? And it turned out he wasn't. So that was kind of my personal experience. I think everyone had a good time, regardless if we saw anything or not. The building itself is just fantastic.
Yeah.
And he pooed himself.
A little bit.
Yeah, I know, Dan, you about pooed yourself when that freaking rock fell off, though.
Yeah, once again, we do not condone the practice of provoking spirits. I was walking around with a fellow haunter, provoking Timmy, and you're already, going, oh, shouldn't have done that. Well, we found out the hard way.
Who's Timmy?
Timmy is the ghost boy who supposedly plays with the ball, but
right.
I think it was just a generic name associated with a possible spirit. We were provoking it all. I guess Timmy doesn't want to come out to play, and so on and so forth, and it got a little bit more harsh than that. And all of a sudden I heard cement grinding on cement, and I look out the window, and a bowling ball-sized chunk of the facade from the roof went flying past the window and hit the ground. And it was about that time, about 6 in the morning, that we decided, well, time to go. It wasn't until the ride home that, I was like, I was really hoping someone had correlated that. And turns out the nephew of the person I was with was a floor below us and saw it hit the ground, so we knew we weren't crazy. and
it'd be more scary if you go out there and there's no rock on the ground. Like, fuck.
Interestingly enough, Troy and Damien both pointed this out, that I actually had no knowledge of the fact that it's pretty commonplace for spirits apparently to throw pieces of cement or flooring, whatever is loose and they can pry out and chuck at you if they feel so inclined. It was just absolutely fantastic. Damien has a couple
I just remember looking down the hallway on the 4th floor and seeing shadows walking by, like if they were, people on a subway or something, Subway Eat Fresh, and
little do you know, Subway pays us every time.
Yeah.
I gave her my $5.
Oh my god!
In the subway.
Here's what I loved about that, Damien, was the fact you're like, people walking through the house like they're on a subway. Where'd you get that reference? like maybe they're walking through their house like a house.
Well, it's just,
at any rate, I think he was saying
that was funny though.
There was a large volume of feet. I think is what he was trying to say.
yes. Enjoy. Anyway, after Subway Eat Fresh, I said,
oh, this is going nowhere.
That's it. I'm checking for a wire on him. Holy shit! He's got a Subway wire on him.
It was a little bit creepy. Seeing,
you were afraid they're going to eat fresh.
It was a
Did you ask him
mayonnaise,
for a
brother.
sandwich?
And I did have the knee pads. And,
Proton back. Anyway.
and walking down, I remember feeling a cold chill on my back.
Didn't have a shirt on. What the hell?
Yeah, I had
Turns out
no
the
shirt
AC kicked
on.
on.
I had no pants on.
Just knee pads.
I just had a pair
And
of
502.
pair of shoes and tidy whities.
Okay, this has become a very different podcast.
Yes. At any rate, back to the main story.
And that just gave you a visual. It was pretty cool walking through there, and I remember one of the guys working there, he really got a cold chill, and there were some ghost hunters there, and they were putting their little thingamajobber around them. It says the temperature went down 10 degrees or something around our boy Curb. He was a little intimidated, but I think he enjoyed it as well.
You enjoyed the breeze?
Yeah, he enjoyed the cold aura of the spirits around him. Probably looking at him and checking him out.
Yeah, when we were there, and I know Troy ran with these guys, the ghost hunters that Danny was just talking about. Yeah, if you can call them that.
If you call them that,
Well,
you call
they
that.
pretty much were like varmint hunting. They carried around like a big red spotlight, and short of like
There's cockroach!
short of having like a high-powered rifle and picking off rodents at a couple hundred yards, they weren't really doing much.
so they're redneck Ghostbusters.
Basically,
Well, like, normally everybody knows when you're investigating a lot of things is to look and hear, listen. So you basically be quiet and keep your eyes open. Well, it's kind of hard to be quiet and keep your eyes open when you have a red flash light or a red light coming at you and hit you in the face, and then you hear, everybody walk together. Walk together. Shh, shh. What was that? What was that? What was that? Then you hear him pulling shit out of his Velcro fast. Then something, oh, my camera just fell. $600 broke. Yeah, but you just pulled it out of your vest, you dumb idiot.
yeah, that was an interesting night. I was very confused by the fact that they had combined probably like 10 grand in equipment, and I had a $30 tape recorder and a flashlight, and I think I was a little bit more scientific. So I'm just putting that out there. I mean, if you guys are listening, I doubt it, but
I had the proton pack.
yeah. But anyway, the moral of that story was like they
Don't be a
sucked.
douche ghost hunter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Watch out over there! Shoot it! Turns out
They also had the
Dick Cheney.
K2 meters, which people who don't know what they are, they're meters for, technically, I guess you hold them with your thumbs, and then they have little flashing lights, like if there's any spirits in here, flash it twice for yes and one for no, and all of a sudden it would flash. You're like,
See, I'm
I want you to
I'm
picture-
only suddenly reminded of that scene from Napoleon Dynamite where he buys the time machine.
Yeah,
Air
and it-
quote.
yeah.
Off the internet.
yeah,
I got him. I punched him.
But I'm only reminded of that all of a sudden. I could just picture these guys going, well, we need ghost hunting equipment. eBay.
Yeah.
Ghost hunting equipment. And some guy in like Korea is assembling these things.
Buy the haunted cane. But yeah, it was
It goes,
just,
you walk with it, and it'll all of a sudden go out from underneath you when it goes around.
Behind your face.
that's
You
Troy's.
know, I would buy that just because I'd be like, here, try this out. This is what happened. And then as they're walking, I kick it out from underneath.
There's a ghost here, obviously. Yeah, another interesting tool that I've seen lately was, I think it's called a Jacobs box or something like that. It's a random frequency generator for the radio on a FM frequency.
Yeah.
And what it does is the ghost apparently selects words from the broad spectrum, and it patches together different pieces of word from everywhere to formulate a sentence. But what it kind of reminds me of is the Transformer that had his voice box destroyed. Like when he
Bumblebee?
yeah, Bumblebee. Thank you. When he had his frickin' thing destroyed. So that was at least interesting because it was kind of a coherent.
What happens if the ghost doesn't speak English?
Yeah. See, that's always one.
You need someone who can translate, like in Ghost Hunters.
Yeah, but they're international.
See, I have trouble believing in any of those shows because
Yeah.
it's we saw something run off in this direction. Doof, 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 doof.
Yeah. Do you guys remember?
Da-da-da-da-da.
Do you guys remember the MTV show? Was it Fear?
No.
I do remember that.
Or Scared.
Yeah,
Scared, or something
Scare
like that.
Tactics?
No,
No, that's also on, but that's on Sci-Fi.
It's a really good show.
There's another one. I think it's Fear or Scared Straight or something. It's one. They, if I remember right, they had a group of people. And they each give them a color, and they had to go to a certain part of this place and do what is assigned. Like somebody had to sit in a room with radio silence for like an hour, and if they could each do it. If they could go through the whole night and do what, they get money or something.
I just sneak in a sandwich with me. Just like,
Sandwich.
got you, fuckers.
Subway, eat fresh.
Damn!
That was a little blog.
Like I could see where like all of that, like when you're like I could see where some of them were scared, but like when you're at home watching it, you're like it's not scary. But if you're actually there,
Because you're at home.
yeah, well, if you're actually there, a lot of things like this is what makes me, I think, different from a lot of people. Is like my imagination is so out there that like I disprove everything I see because of my imagination. If I get like when I went to Waverly, a lot of things that like I think I saw a shadow, I debunked it for the fact that I'm thinking it's just in my head. Like that's why
That's comforting. I didn't see that. It's in my head.
You ever seen the movie Jacob's Ladder? You remember that when the guy kept hallucinating from all the crazy drugs and crap that they made him take in knobs?
I do not take drugs, just in case of like.
I'm drug free. My crutch is alcohol.
Yeah. Oh.
Just say yes to ketchup.
Speaking of which, St. Patty's Day is around the corner.
Yeah, I gotta work on that day.
For that, we need to. I think we need to find one of these so-called haunted places. Take a few 6-packs.
Yeah. Get
And
drunk
see
and
what we can strum up.
Probably the cops. But
It's all dude kind of spooky.
we all had different experiences in the haunt world. And Tyler, did you have any?
Did I have any actual ghost situations?
Creepy.
Ghosts? Yeah, Delhi. Dungeons of Delhi. We had
Oh yeah, I forgot
several
about that.
moments that I'm not gonna lie. For the most part, when I think that OMFG a ghost, I'm like. I'd very much later go back and go, nah, I probably didn't see a ghost. But at Delhi, we had these moments. There was a back room that we had turned into. It was the Micheal Myers room temporarily.
Right.
Because we would change rooms every year. And it had a hallway connected to it that was the padded hallway. Now, in that padded hallway, they had fishing wire hanging down to make it feel like, you're walking through something. And it was long enough that there was a curtain on each end. But the thing is, there's no open circulating air in this place. There's no ventilation system that pushes air through it, so it's not like a wind tunnel. Yet, for some reason, sitting in that room, waiting for my next scare, the curtain would blow back, and I'd be waiting for someone to walk through, and then nothing. It would be pushed back like someone holding it out of the way.
Yeah.
Nothing would come through. And I swear to God, it felt like someone was watching me.
Well, it was interesting because we had one of our operators was an undertaker and actually had a couple shipping containers, I guess you would call them.
Used coffins.
Yes, used coffins.
Did the Undertaker work for you?
Ones they didn't actually...
Not literally the Undertaker.
Ones they didn't actually bury someone in. They were just used for the showing, and then they were transferred to different ones.
No, what they were is... I'm just talking about the big aluminum...
Oh, the big aluminum ones.
Yeah,
because we did have a wood one.
Well, that's true. They had just for display, but we actually had ones that were used to ship corpses in from Vietnam back to the United States, and they were actually used. And we had one that was child-sized, which was very small and very creepy. So I don't know if that was just for remains in general or whatnot. But
the most messed up thing about that, not outside of what you were going to say, is the fact that there was still the formaldehyde.
That's what I was going to bring up next.
And we'll move back into that.
Oh, I'm not worried about that. But like as Ty was saying, the smell of formaldehyde was horrible, and it smelled like death. I mean, Damien can vouch for that too.
Because you climbed into it.
Yeah, I climbed into it every night. Just a weird smell, and it wasn't me.
Well, what's funny is
it might have been me. But.
We didn't know the formaldehyde was still in it. Like we opened it up, and Damien jumps into it, and all of a sudden, we're all standing there going. What the fuck is that smell? Like, it's dead in here. Something is really bad in here. And we're like, Damien, you're covered in formaldehyde. Like, shit, we had to hose you off.
Horrifying.
I won't do that joke, but
it was pretty crazy, and I think after that we had some spooktacular happenings going on there.
Something followed it home.
Well, if anyone followed me home, they'd probably die of boredom. But oh my God, all he does is watch cartoons. And hey, well,
you bring up a stoner ghost, he'll be happy.
I'm very alone. But
bring a girl ghost.
Seriously. And once again, I think all of us...
For some reason, the girl ghost also reminds me of Ghostbusters.
Yeah, the one famous...
The pants scene.
Yeah. Which the stop-motion animation was hilariously bad on that.
Well, you could actually see at one point that string pulling the belt.
Yeah. It was like Indiana Jones. You could see the reflection of the fire on the piece of glass they had in between them.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, that was a nice try. And they remastered that, and you can take the flare off of it, but they never have. I have never understood that. Like, they're so concentrated on adding in...
They added other shit, like, let's add a piece of straw to his hat.
Yeah.
Like, let's add dust physics.
This should be awesome. No, just leave it go, guys.
Okay, so, Troy?
Speaking, I guess, The Dent Schoolhouse is actually possibly haunted. I know of everybody there, a lot of people have had their own experience. Anywhere from people being touched, or we had one of our guys, Master Relic, Kirby, was in one of his rooms. He said he was wearing like a tight shirt where nothing would grab. He said he was leaning against the wall like this. All of a sudden he went like that, and like stretched and went back. And he's like getting nothing through his hands over, cobwebs and anything. There's been like people saying there's just one creepy bathroom, as some people call it. Go in there and just feel like they're being watched. Touched.
Little did you know.
Why are there people cut in the mirror? I don't know.
What's that camera in the corner?
Haunted.
They hang a little paper ghost from it, like.
Fucking ghost. Back off.
So it's actually time me, one of the owners, Bud, and then Bubba, investigated. Actually decided to stay one night and investigated, and I have EVPs of our place actually being haunted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And one of the cool things is actually the location we are broadcasting from, my mom's basement.
Four guys in a little hallway.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic. Not really, it's sad. At any rate, it was interesting. I accidentally left my, I used to make a bunch of sound effects and whatnot on my old tower with the awesome Windows media player. And I accidentally left it on for about 12 hours one day. I was flying through it, I had a Yorkshire Terrier. God, that's embarrassing. At the time,
I had a Yorkie.
Yeah, they were nice, but my dog actually peed on 2 Yorkies a couple weeks ago. Anyway.
Until a real dog ate it.
Yeah. But, and I was flying through it, I could see the bark spikes, and I just stopped to check them out. Then I found a little blip. I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. I played it, and it was very faint, but it said, can you hear me? That was interesting. That was about 15 feet from where we're broadcasting right now. So, hey, if you guys want to listen to this in
Unless you were
reverse.
picking up a rogue radio, like a walkie-talkie-like transmission. Because
I don't
sometimes,
know.
like, those Nokia walkie-talkie phones,
Right.
those things send out very, like, rogue signals. And, like, my computer speakers, every now and then, they'll go, and I'll hear someone like, I do it. And I'm like, oh, what the fuck was that?
Rogue you. It was kind of weird because it would fuzz in, and then it kind of...
Oh, yeah.
And
That's creepy.
so, as Ty said, that's a possibility. That was just kind of creepy. I don't know if that was EVP or just kind of some weird cross-interference that the FCC, don't shut us down, may have just missed. So, the house, the original owner's wife actually passed away in the house, which is kind of weird.
In this very room.
On a night just like tonight.
Which is funny because it's day right now.
But it doesn't matter because the lights in the basement are about to go off.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Happy hour.
Actually, it is.
Yeah, it's almost 5 o'clock. So anyway,
Break out the alcohol.
They're creeped out by that consequence.
No, I think I'll tell you a really scary moment for me, and this isn't like OMFG ghost. Oh, a moment for me. I think I was really freaked out. In reference to something totally related, was the first Resident Evil video game.
Yeah.
I think one of the very best survival horror games ever.
Yeah,
And there was an incident. I was staying with my grandparents for the summer.
Mhm.
We're down middle eastern of Kentucky, and they've just got nothing but fields around them. It's dark
You're
outside.
slightly north of the sticks, then I think.
Oh, we're in what it would be considered housing development, but
Okay.
there's still farms and stuff like right next door type thing. And the nearest house is a good ways up the road, and it was the house that my grandpa actually built that house.
Right.
And up all the way up the road was my great grandma Hamilton's house, who I had actually found passed away
Interesting.
when I was about 4. Because my grandma took me to the house to visit with her. She couldn't get into the house,
Right.
And she let me in through the window and to unlock the door.
Mhm.
And then there's Grandma Hamilton on the floor dead.
Oh,
I'm kind of going
my.
like, this shit's awkward. She was fucking cool.
I know,
Anyway,
really,
I'm
to the
fucking
touch.
going off to a really weird place. Anyway, so I'm at my grandparents, and I've got the PlayStation out, and I'm playing. And they have one of those big fuck-off old televisions,
Right.
with a big border around it and everything. And so I'm playing Resident Evil. It is somewhere around 1 o'clock in the morning. It's pitch black outside. And they've got several, 2 big patio doors that are just glass. There's no curtains drawn or anything. You can just see right out into the field.
That's where my imagination goes.
Yeah.
Well, it was...
Oh my god!
And, my grandparents, they were asleep in the far back of the house.
Right.
And I'm just in the living room by myself playing this game. And we get to the part, I was maybe playing the game for a couple hours. I had gotten past the scene where dogs chase them into the house and everything. That's freaky enough.
Right.
But the one scene I think really got was when you're going through the back hallway and the dogs come back the first time. Burst through the windows. I'm in this room in this long, dark house. I can see outside. It's pitch black, and all I can see out there are the eyes of a coyote.
Oh, that's
looking
sweet.
back at the house. Like I catch that refraction.
Yeah.
And I'm old enough to know, it's a coyote or a rogue dog, or hell, it might have been a horse. I mean, there are things out there.
Things everywhere.
Things everywhere. Crazy. And that scene
There's
happens.
Chris walking there.
That scene happens where that dog burst through the window, and I threw the controller and went screaming through the back of the house, "Motherfuck! I'm gonna die!" I was fairly certain at that moment dogs were about to just tear through the window and just eat me alive.
Yeah, I've had that happen before.
Took a while to pull myself back.
Well, I have a Chihuahua.
You have a Chihuahua and a pit bull.
Yes.
Well, actually, what's funny is the Chihuahua dominates the pit bull.
Yeah, which is kind of creepy in
It
itself.
has a step ladder. It climbs up there and just goes to town.
Hold on, guys. It was actually comedian Josh Schneed made fun of that
Really?
reference. Well, you were there.
Oh,
I think
Josh,
it was-
yeah. I forgot about that.
Good comedian there. Just these type of stories, is what we hope to bring you guys on a weekly basis or
Stories of
bi-weekly.
small dog
Camping.
mounting
Yeah.
big dogs.
Yeah, I'm
These are the
thinking-
stories.
We were talking about this in camping.
Yeah, we had talked about doing a semi-live broadcast in the middle of the woods around a campfire.
That sounds fun.
I am down.
and
So,
dangerous.
yeah, I just got to keep my computer from melting.
I bring the marshmallows.
The Marshmallow Man.
I really
Some
like
say I do look like him.
marshmallows. They're delicious, especially.
Yeah,
When
made
hot.
your choice.
What? My mind is clean. What?
Oh,
What'd you do, Ray?
Ray, when someone asks if you're a god, you say yes!
Sorry, little Ghostbusters reveal there. But, sorry, we clipped really bad at that point.
When you get to that
You're
part,
now
you're going to hear
deaf.
yes and then go deaf.
Oh,
Oh, you did
yeah, get that.
Step away from the microphone, jackasses.
We're
Well,
a
wait.
couple feet away. And it's
I was going to say,
clipping,
wait
so-
until you get the commercial, and that one's going to be like,
Yeah. That's ruined. At any
We're
rate,
actually having more fun just
Well,
watching
even
the
do one-
volume bar
And,
as they populate.
Podcast up at Midwest Haunted Convention.
that's also
Oh,
true.
well, this is definitely a future project, and I will be there for that.
Yes.
We're all going to be attending the Midwestern Haunt Convention. When is it again?
June
5th, 6th, and 7th.
There we go.
Right, that's going to be a hell
Up
of
at the
a
Hyatt
weekend.
Hotel.
Up at the beautiful Hyatt Regency up in Columbus, Ohio, and hopefully maybe we can have a brother podcast. Maybe broadcast as an entire unit.
Well,
so,
yeah,
you know,
imagine
That would
all
be
of us at a long table.
With-
both
with-
Probably be
sides
all in my room.
recording.
Yeah, we're gonna have
with,
to pass.
with microphones.
We're gonna have to pass the microphone.
and
But,
most likely it would be like in one of our hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Well, actually, with stuff like that, you'll find a lot of hotels have empty conference rooms that they're not using.
That's true. So maybe we'll do that. But that's future reference. And once again, thank you for listening to the Corpse Cast 1.5. I'm Dan,
I am Damien.
I'm Troy.
I'm your father.
and our special nerd guest, Tyler.
I'll swallow your soul.
Rest in damnation.
See you next week.
Adios.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, put that down, please. All right, please leave. That's it.